So welcome you all in the core Java session of Selenium. So today we will learn about the Java introduction. So anyone know about how Java is introduced and at what time? So Java programming language was originally developed by the Sun Microsystems and it's initiated by the James, and it was released in 1996 as a core component of Sun Microsystem. Okay, so the latest release is, I think it is changed to Java SE 18. Now we will see it. Now Java's first name was Oak. This is also sometimes asked in the interview written test. Okay, so just remember that. Now Java is a programming language, as we all know, and it is a platform independent. Okay, it's a platform, it's an object-oriented programming language having the OOPS concept. Is called as platform independent. It's very simple. You can go through all these. I will share this PPT with you. It's a very secure language, and it's an architecture neutral language. It's portable, robust, multi-threading, high performance, distributed and dynamic. Okay. About the architecture of JDK, JRE and JVM, you can see this whole thing is called as JDK, which is Java Development Kit. Okay, so this is the architecture of Java Development Kit. Inside that we have a JRE. JRE is what? Java Runtime Environment. Okay, inside the Java Runtime Environment, you have all the Java packages, runtime libraries. Inside that you also have JVM, Java Virtual Machine. In Java Virtual Machine, you have all the class loader, memory areas, execution engines. So all this comes under JRE.
Can you tell more about JRE and JVM, Chavi?
Yeah. So JRE is what? Java. This is the combination of Java packages, classes. See, all classes, packages. In first, what you create when you are writing your program, what you create the packages, right? Inside the packages, you will create the class, right? So what is class? Class is a .java, right? So inside that you write all your programs. So it's a Java package classes. So it is inside the JRE, which is Java Runtime Environment. Now what you do, this Java runtime environment and all those libraries and JVM, this combinedly called as JRE, which is a Java runtime environment. And now what this runtime environment will run with the help of Java C, Java compiler. These are all the deployment tools. So this is Java C, means with the help of Java C, Java compiler, we execute these programs which we write inside the JRE. Okay.
So when we say runtime libraries, which are the libraries? Libraries
which we include, right?
Okay.
When we include all those libraries, packages, and JRE files which we include, right? When wait, I will show you.
What all import files that we add?
Correct.
In import Selenium things or related to time, those kinds are all back.
What is that
libraries?
You told, right? Java is object oriented. Can you please explain me about that too?
Yeah. I will.
It's very new to me, Java. So that's why.
Correct. So we, in this whole 2 weeks, we will be telling you about the OOPS concept only. So don't worry. It's just don't get confused. It's just an OOPS concept means object-oriented programming, in which you include object, methods and everything. Okay, so I will show you. See, these are all JRE libraries, system libraries. Someone was asking, right? I don't remember.
Yes.
Deepali, you
yes,
was asking, right?
yes, yeah.
these are all the libraries which we included. Okay, so this is
Okay,
about
JRE
the
system libraries. Okay.
So
correct.
what is that in library, what it contains actually? I mean, like in a general way.
So this is created when we create a package and class, it automatically creates a library,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Okay.
correct, correct. So it automatically creates. It supports your program. Without that, how will you run your program? So basically,
Yeah.
Archana, it supports your program so that
And then,
you can able to execute your programs. You can able to run your program. Yes.
Yeah.
Someone
So
was
go
asking
back to the
something.
slide again, Chavi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically here we create the packages and classes. Libraries is sometime, for example, Eclipse editor we are using that loads it for us, and we have also installed Java. And then JVM, what this JVM does? I understood first
JVM
two
is
things.
Java. Yeah. Java virtual machine. See, this all is done virtually, right? You're not doing it or you're not going somewhere and clicking. It is all done virtually. These are all the class loaders, memory areas, you know, where you are storing your data virtually, correct? You are not going and putting some data there. You are just assuming that you are, as I told you, right? When you are creating an object, you are storing one object there, correct? As right, Deepali, on the previous
Yes.
students, can you please answer? Because they have
Yes.
done it so
Chavi.
much time, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you are creating an object, you're storing your data or you're storing one place for that object. So that
Yes.
is called virtually you are doing,
We
right?
are not storing it. I mean, like physically, like virtually, the system
Correct.
JVM will take
So
care
that's
of
why
it.
it is
Where
called
to
as
load? Yeah.
where
Okay.
to load all the memory areas like stack memory, all those memories which I will tell you, which I have already told you, previous batch
Yes.
students, and I will tell
So
you, new batch
what is
student, don't
Java
worry, we
package
will be
classes then? Java package classes?
That we create,
oh,
Archana.
that,
In Eclipse, we will
that we
create
create, yeah.
package and classes. Runtime library is something it loads by
Correct.
itself. And JVM
Mhm.
is, Chavi is saying, whatever objects we create, whatever data we have, variables and all those, that is stored in memory virtually.
Okay, that one I didn't get the Java. How to prepare the Java? What we have
that
to
that you
prepare in
will
Java package
that
class?
you will uh, that you will learn. Archana, no,
Okay,
don't worry, this is just a beginning.
Thanks,
So
Chavi.
that you will learn.
thank you.
Well, welcome. So now, what is object-oriented programming? Okay, so as Archana was asking, so this object-oriented programming, these 2 weeks we will learn about object-oriented programming only. Okay, so after 2 weeks, you will be very clear that what I am telling you. So in this, what is object, what is class, we will learn about that. So as I said, an object is an instance of a class. You just have to remember. Slowly, you will be getting that what the meaning of instance, what is the meaning of object, what is the meaning of classes. Okay. So object have states and behavior. For example, in a very layman language, I'm telling you that example of a dog state. A dog is what? Dog can have a color, dog can have a name, dog can have a breed. Okay. And also dog have a behavior. Like what behavior dog can have? Barking, eating, sleeping. Similarly, class. What is class? Class is defined as a template or a blueprint that describes the behavior and the state of the object. Correct? So, like uh, what type of breed he is. That dog is an object. So, what type of breed? What type of uh, dog? What age is it? So, all these comes under classes. Okay. Slowly, you will understand. Uh, in Java, what are the different data types we use? In Java, can anyone tell from the previous batch? This is also very important interview question. Okay,
What,
so
sorry?
byte data types, like how
Yeah.
many data types we use.
Yes. Yeah.
Byte,
It's-
short, integer,
Int,
long,
double, boolean, char,
double
string.
also, correct.
Yeah.
So where we use byte, where we use short, where we use int, can anyone tell?
For the int is, I think, is in numbers. When we have to use numbers,
Correct.
you use int.
Mhm.
Double is a decimal numbers. It's like a 12.35 or
Correct.
15 point.
Mhm.
For the boolean is true and false.
Mhm.
For char is letters, whether A,
Right.
B, C, and string is like a name.
Alphabets. Correct. What about byte, short, long,
That,
float?
yeah, I don't know about by short and float.
Others? Anyone else?
Float
is
is
byte?
also decimal, right?
Correct. Float is also
decimal.
decimal, right,
Yeah.
Abira? What about byte?
And
Kavi, can you tell difference between float and double?
Yes, I will tell you.
byte and
First,
short
let
is
me.
also integer, but they have some ranges. But I forgot the
Correct.
range.
Correct, Abira. Very good.
Yes.
Very good. So
I have
same
a-
thing about long and float, float and double.
So it's so
Okay,
confusing.
so-
Can you please explain one by one?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So from starting, I am explaining. So byte is also integer, short is also integer, and int is also integer. So these long is also integer. So these four things comes under same category. Okay, but what is the difference? They have their what start point and end point is different. I'll tell you. See, byte. What is byte? Byte is from 0 to 25, 255, sorry. 0 to 255. So it contain only this much number. Okay. Now next is what? Short. Okay. Short contains sorry, short. Okay. Let me. Okay, difference between short, int, and long in data type in Java. Okay, so yeah, so byte range from 251. Yeah, so byte is for 8-bit, short is for 16-bit, and int is for 32-bit. Okay, long is for 64-bit. So this is the difference. Understood, everyone? 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit, and 64-bit. So it comes under minus 128 to minus 128 to 127.
So what is that 8 bits means? Is it a 8 bits means? Is it a character or what is it? What is bits?
It's a byte, like byte comes in 8 bits. What that means is, yeah, so 8 bits is one in like a 1 byte. You can say 8-bit is 1 byte. Let me check once again because it's very confusing. Wait,
Yeah, actually, it's
let me
very
check.
basics. Like bit is 0 and 1, right?
Bit is not 0.
Or
That
byte.
is
Boolean is 0 and 1. I know that.
no. Boolean is true. 0 and 1. You can say true or false.
Yeah.
Bit and byte we learned in college, forgot.
Yeah, forgot. Correct. Actually, bit means
Yeah, 2 bytes is 16 bits. So 1 byte is 8 bits of memory.
8 bit. Correct. So 1 byte is 8 bit of memory. Yeah. So it is 8 bit. It's very confusing. Byte. Okay. So bit is the youngest, like the smallest thing, and byte is like from this to this, right? And
Yeah, you know, better to understand the range. That will be easy actually. What's
yeah,
the
that
range
will be
only?
easy. It's very easy thing, but the thing is I am not able to recollect it. We have learned it so many times. What is the difference between bit and byte? Bit size for bit to byte. No. 1 bit is this much byte. Okay. Okay, that's why 8 bit is 1 byte.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
now
got it.
you got it. Yeah,
Yeah, I got it.
now
So
we got it.
yeah,
So
one
a bit
bit
is
is
8 bit. Yeah.
8 bytes, right?
And ASCII character is sorted in the byte because trying to use for 7 bits instead of 8 means you cannot address
I
one
think for
character
us, what
directly. Yeah,
matters is the only range,
yeah.
right?
Correct. So what was happening is in ASCII you cannot have a stored like one character. If you wanted to write it one character, you cannot store it because it is less than 1 byte. So that's why always we store it in 8 bits. Okay. 8 bits, like, because yeah, so 8 bit you can store so that it will be 1 byte. Okay, so it is in the 8 bits means 1 byte. And now going back to that, clear everyone? You have cleared? Anyone has any doubt?
No.
So 1 byte is 8 bit. That's why we always multiply it in the 8 bits. Correct? So it is in. Anyone has any doubt? No, no? Okay. Now going back to this thing. So why it is of 8 bits? It is of 8 bits means it is a multiple of 8s. Okay. Short is in the multiple of 16. Okay. Accordingly, integer is going. So why we are using integer? Because it has more value. You can store more data there. Okay. In short and in bit byte, you cannot store much data. If you want to try it more than 128, it will not allow you if you are using byte variable. Clear? If you are using short variable, you are using from minus 32,768 to 32,767. Is that clear to everyone? Yes.
Yeah. So do we have to remember all these ranges? I mean,
No,
Oh.
it's just for your understanding. See, I don't remember these things for so many years.
Okay.
So you don't have to remember, just in your mind that why you are not using byte, why you are not using short, because it has a less range. Okay, so that's why you are using integer. Okay, this is not even asked by somebody. Okay. Now coming to float and double. Okay, float and double is also same thing. Float is having the less range. Okay, float and double. But float is in fraction. Okay, float and double is for the fraction. Okay, Float is having enough of range, so we don't use double much. We use float much. And in these four we use integer, and in this two we use float. So float and double is for the fraction. It's just that you should know for which thing you have to take which type of data. Okay.
Yeah, but what's the difference, Ravi?
In which difference?
Float and double. Float and double.
Yeah, the same thing which integer and long has. Okay. Float and
Range.
double has a range. Yeah, it has a less range.
Double has more range, right?
Double has more range.
More
Correct.
range.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why you use either float or double. I'm not getting good range there. Yeah, float has 4 byte. This is from this to this, and double has 8 byte from this to this. Okay, that's it. Moving on, Boolean, everybody know, correct? Boolean, everybody know. I don't have to explain. It's true or false or 0 or 1. Character, everyone know. It's an alphabet or letters. Correct? String, it's an sentence. Okay. Now comes the methods. Okay. Methods is what?
What is string?
Method is
between a string and character.
string is, yeah. Character is like alphabets. So A, B, C, D. You can store it. Correct. And string is what? Like string is the whole sentence.
Alphanumeric kind of thing? Or?
Yeah, string can be alphanumeric also. String can have anything. Okay.
Okay.
Special characters also, you can store it in the string.
Okay, got it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, string can store anything. Okay. Now
Come again. Sorry,
everyone clear
I missed it. Come again, please.
about character and string?
No, something about string, right? Alphanumeric. Character,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, so alphanumeric, string can be alphanumeric also. You can store numbers also. It's a just it's a line, like you can store this much value. Yeah, you can store this much.
When we put in the quotes, we can put numbers as well.
Yeah, anything. Yeah, you can store this much, how much ever you want in a string. Yeah, special characters, anything you can store it in the string.
For example, we are living in Canada, so our zip code normally contains number and it will be like L5C 1W9, something like that. So those places we define it as a string so that it takes character and number.
As well as, yeah.
Correct. So so if you want to store such information somewhere, so you use that variable as a string. Very good. Clear? That means it's clear to everyone. Okay. Moving on, methods. Methods is a block of code. You can pass data known as parameters. You can pass parameters also. And method also performs certain action. Correct? If it is addition or it is multiplication, any method could be if it is an add method, you can do addition of two numbers or any function. Okay, that is also known as function. In C++, you say that as a function, and in Java, it is called as method. Okay. Now comes the access specifiers. What is access specifiers? Anyone? What that means, like public, private, protected, default?
Public.
Yeah.
How it, I mean, like how it can be accessed.
Correct.
I mean, like the.
Yeah. Correct. So if you are giving any public access to any data type or method, it will act accordingly. Right? So if you give any method public, you can access it anywhere. If you make it private, you can access only in the class. Okay, as it is written here. If you have access inside the class, so default can also be accessed, private, protected, public. Okay, if you access within the class inside the same package, like suppose you have created one package and inside that there are 2 or 3 classes, so you cannot access the private methods or variables. You cannot access. Okay, access outside the package, nobody can access, only the public can be accessed. Okay, access within the subclass outside the package, so only protected and public can be accessed. Okay, so slowly you will understand about this.
Well, the last point, Chavi, sorry, that is accessible. I understand firstly, accessible within the subclass outside the package. Can you explain this?
You have to explain this. You have done all the training. Can you explain this? Like what subclasses? What is
Yeah, I
subclass?
understand. Subclass. Yeah, we have package. Packages have classes, and classes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So outside the package, I understand. Yeah. Outside the packages,
right?
like different packages, and then
2 packages you have created.
Yeah, 2
You have
packages.
created 2 packages, and within the what is subclass? Tell me, Dipali. What is subclass?
Maybe yeah. Okay, child class.
Correct. Subclass is child class. Correct. So within the subclass, within the child class, and outside the package. If that,
Got it.
Yeah, you got it. Explain it now for me.
Yeah.
What
So
you got it?
accessible within the subclass outside the package. So outside the package, and then you are outside the package, and you are creating a child class. Yeah,
Correct.
you're creating a child class from one of the class from the other package.
From the parent class, correct?
Yeah.
So you can access that protected data there from there. Yeah, good.
Yes, because now you have it is a child class, so it can, even though it is outside of the package, it can access the parent class.
Correct. So to the current batch students, so once you will understand, you are gone through all the training program, so you will understand this. So we will keep on reminding, and we'll keep on opening this sheet to understand about the access specifier. Okay, moving on. Okay. Yeah, yesterday I also told you about what is the difference. Yesterday means previous class. What is the difference between defect, error, bug? Right? I've given you assignment that also, right? What is the difference between a bug and a defect, right?
Right.
Yeah. So anyone has gone through what is the difference between a defect and a bug?
It says here, right? Defect is something tester finds it, like, if application is not working as expected, not as the requirements. And bug is like when developer accepts that it is a defect, and there is something wrong in the code, maybe, and anything. Yeah. So he has developed the code wrong, and there is a defect, and he has to fix it.
So yeah. So what is defect? When a tester finds a defect, that there is a deviation from the requirement document and the whatever is coded or whatever is they have developed it. So that is called as defect. And once the defect is accepted, we in the last class we have done like we have gone through the defect life cycle. So what was the third step? When the developer accept the defect, and it will be open state. That time it will change to bug. Okay. Now what is error? Error is when developer is doing the code run, correct? So that time whatever while the execution of code, the execution of code, the program is not running properly and it is not giving the expected result, that time it is called as error. Okay, so there are three types of error: syntax error, runtime error, and logical error. Okay, syntax error, when there is when you have not written proper, colon or equal to sign, you have not written properly as per the programming language. So that is called a syntax error. Runtime error is what? Anyone? What is runtime error? No one?
Like depending on the input Chavi, we will get this runtime errors.
What input? What
Did
input
we ever
are
get
giving?
runtime error? Like we did so many programs, right? Did we get any runtime error? No.
No. See, what is written here? The programmer, when they are
No, but we have did scripting in Selenium, right, Chavi? But we never got it,
yes.
right, Anu? Did we ever got runtime error?
Maybe runtime errors are exceptions that Selenium throw. Is that correct, Chavi?
See, runtime error is when a program, when your program is like syntax and all things are correct, but the issue is containing issue is where when you are detecting any program executions issue. Runtime error is why we are not getting runtime error, because our errors are like this element is not found, correct, and scalability problem or somewhat we have exceptions. In Selenium, when we are executing, we don't have errors, we have exceptions. Correct, Deepali?
Yeah. Yes.
So we
No element
usually get
found.
exception. Yeah, no element found, or there are so many exceptions. We will learn that about that also. But runtime error is when runtime error usually when the coder is running their what IO errors. We get IO errors, right? So that is a runtime error.
Like if we exceed, like
Input
there is
output
a
error.
range for the double, and
Range
then if
error.
we
Correct.
exceed
So
the
you have
range, then we will get this runtime errors, Chavi.
correct. So this is correct. So when we are, suppose we are written integer and we have given some more value to that particular variable. So that time we get the runtime error. Okay. What is logic error?
Yeah.
So runtime error is like, for example, if it is integer and you are giving float.
No. That is syntax error, no? Because we will be.
So runtime
you are
error is
not
you're
able to-
exceeding the range. That's the example.
Yeah, that is just a one
That is
example.
one example.
Can you
yeah.
give more,
Yeah.
Chavi? For
Yeah,
anyone
okay,
else?
Okay.
Because I don't think so we came across runtime error. I
No,
don't
that's
know.
what I said. No, runtime error is like a
More for
exception error.
developers. Exception, input,
Yeah,
output exception.
Input output exception is runtime error. When you are not getting correct pop-up, or when you are not getting the, some
Is it like if you
runtime
miss
issue.
something? Is it like if you miss something in the code, like a semicolon or anything?
No, that is syntax error.
That is
Syntax, okay.
Semicolon and all. Yeah, that is syntax error.
Okay.
Yeah, that is syntax error. But when you miss, wait, let me check some example.
Yeah, we can Google it. It says divide by 0 is runtime error. I'm checking some
Yeah,
examples.
that is runtime error, right? So, what is runtime error? Yeah, if you are dividing it by 0 and it will not give you the
So runtime errors are basically, it is saying error that occurs while program is running after being successfully compiled, but syntax error and all that, it will not allow you to compile. So errors that we get after compiling, those are runtime errors.
Runtime error. When we are compiling and we are getting some error in the console, no? Yeah, like here when we are getting some error, that is called as runtime error. But if you are getting some error here,
for example, when
like,
you do divide by 0, it won't tell you before compiling it, and it will tell you after compiling. But it's syntax errors, it will not allow itself to compile.
Correct. So that is called as runtime error. When you get some error here in the console.
Got it. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
So
everyone clear?
Yeah. Another example I'm saying, like for runtime error, when there is system memory, like it's going out of memory or something, at that time runtime error occurs.
Yeah,
something like that.
Any error, actually any error which is allowing you to run, and after that it is giving you the error in the console, that is a runtime error, right?
Yeah.
Yes, correct. So that is runtime error. Okay, clear everyone? Now comes the logic error. What is logic error? Logic error is when you are getting the correct, means you are getting the result, but logically it is not correct. Like if you are trying to add a 2 number, but instead of adding, you are multiplying, correct? So you will get the result, but it is logically not correct. I mean, it is not according to the expectation. So you are not getting any error as such, but your output is not correct. Why? Because instead of adding, you are multiplying. Clear? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So clear to everyone? Logic error?
Yes, Chavi.
Okay. Moving to failure. Failure is what? When we are crashing any system, like page not found. Okay. So that time it is called as failure. And also when it is called as failure, when it is when it is in UAT or
so
or
Chavi,
it
does
gone
it
to the
happen though,
production.
like before, like UAT you do it internally, right, and then it happens? Does it happen usually, UAT failure?
Sometimes it is happening, like suddenly you have given your submitted your project, and then what will happen? The environment, because of the, mostly it is because of the environment, because they are not using the correct environment. So that so what will happen? The project crashes. It is failure. They're not able to open it because the environment is not supporting, right? So it happens sometimes. Okay, it gives you the page not found when you hit the URL. So it will
Chavi, I
directly
missed
give you
it.
the
Sorry,
page
my
not.
son was around. Can you come again? Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So what I was telling is, it happens in the UAT when the environment is different. Suppose the tester has tested in the QA environment, and the developer has developed in the feature environment or whatever development environment they have done. But UAT is using some other environment. So what will happen? The system will crash. So they have to create the environment
when we
for
do
that
UAT,
particular.
we do in real-time environment only, right? That's like a not on large scale. We do it on the small scale.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. But we have to create an environment accordingly. Whatever environment we are doing for the QA environment and developer environment. So we have to create that. Mostly
so
it happens.
when we say failure, so this failure is in UAT only, right? And like when it is on small scale, that time only in UAT only it fails like that, right? Okay. Or
So
like
that's why it is called failure. Yeah.
Okay. Or it's like, you do it UAT at the small scale, and when you do it really, like, in real time environment, it fails. That is called failure, or it fails in UAT, it is called failure.
In real time environment, see, you have to test so many times, then only you will shift it to real time environment. But usually in UAT, when it is getting failure, so it is called as failure. But see, there are always a support system, correct? You cannot send the project in live without any testing, right? So, and if it is failing, then also there are so many other things which is
Okay, because I'm
we
not
are
aware. I
supporting.
did UAT couple of times, but it didn't fail that time. So I'm like, really, it happens. Does it happen really? Okay.
Yeah, that's why it is very rare. But if it fails, then it is called as failure. So if someone asks you, then you have to answer like that only. Okay. Okay. So
what is UAT?
User acceptance testing.
Okay.
UAT is user acceptance testing. Where you have attended last session, right? We have done UAT so many times, like when we were doing the model, right? B model.
Okay.
Yeah. User acceptance testing we have done. Acceptance testing, right? This is UAT, user acceptance testing.
B model.
Yeah. So that is called as UAT. When we are writing, so user acceptance testing, there are also different set of test cases that we do for user acceptance, like whether that product is accepted or not. So what different testing comes under UAT? Anyone from the previous batch or today, this batch, current batch? No one?
So basically, you
testing?
you acceptance testing is basically you verify the requirements, whatever is expected by the client.
Yeah, that's true. But there are few types of acceptance testing. What you call them?
Oh, alpha
There
and
are
beta.
Correct. Alpha, beta testing are called as user acceptance.
Can you explain? I forgot about it. Just know the names.
Anyone else can explain what is alpha testing? What is beta testing? I've explained it last time very nicely. I remember. Anu?
Yeah, Chavi, just thinking, recollecting.
Divya? Alpha testing. What is alpha testing?
Is
What is
alpha
beta? There
on
is very
small
small.
scale and beta is large scale?
Okay.
I don't know.
You can say that. See, alpha testing is, wait, I will explain by looking into it. Very small difference. Alpha testing and beta testing. Difference. Yeah, so alpha testing is type of software testing performed to identify bugs before the release of the product to the real user or to the public. Beta testing is performed by the real user of the software application in a real environment. Okay. Beta testing is
So alpha
both are
testing is
acceptance
done
testing.
at the in our I mean in the test environment, like that, Chavi.
Here
And
here
then
you find the bugs. Like alpha testing is for the bugs. Like tester do it to find out the bugs. But beta testing is done in the real time environment. Like first they do alpha testing, then they do beta testing. Right? So that the alpha testing is when the real user are using it in the public, or the means like real public are using it, but they are like, when you see some cars are, when you are driving a car with all colored, they just try that whether this car will work correctly or not. Okay, so that is called as alpha testing. Okay, but beta testing is what? They just sell 10 or 20 cars and see that how it is working. Okay, so are you getting the difference that when the tester is testing to find the bug, but in the real environment, in the by the real users, like they are driving the car in the outside, but they are not selling it. Okay, but in beta testing is what? They sell few of the, like in phones also. When they do alpha testing, hello, am I audible? Or is it connectivity issue?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so when suppose you are doing some alpha testing on phone, so what you will do? You will give few of the sample phones to the users, and you just tell them to test it. Okay, that is called as alpha testing.
Can you show more
And you should,
differences, Chavi? Go down, please.
alpha testing involves both white box and black box testing. Beta testing commonly use black box testing because they don't see anything, because beta testing is not very much involved by the tester. They are purely users. Yeah, they are performed by the clients who are not part of the organization. Alpha testing is performed by the tester, who are usually internal employees of the organization. Alpha testing is performed by the developer side. Beta testing is performed by the end users. Clear,
But
everyone?
this alpha testing, whatever the UAT they are saying, right? It depends upon each organization also. Sometimes
Yeah, it depends.
UAT is not
Yeah.
done by the employees of the same organization. It can be done by the user. I mean, by the client side. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It all depends on organization to
Yeah,
organization.
in our
like how they are.
organization, we just do testing, but UAT is done by the main client. They will do the UAT testing. Yeah, it depends
Okay.
upon each organization how they do it.
That's true. That's true. But if someone asks you in the interview, so you have to say like that, that alpha testing is done by the testers, and
Okay.
beta testing is done by the client who don't have knowledge of the knowledge of what we are testing, but they are
Yeah.
testing
Yeah.
as a user.
Yeah.
So who don't know about the application.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Correct. So clear? So we
Yes,
will conclude our class here. I'll stop recording.